Hey folks, Daily Landsblog for the 9th of July 2018, and I was requesting some suggestions for a really badass nickname, like Daniel Carcillo, has the nickname Car Bomb, and that's relevant because Daniel Carcillo has become one of the best people to follow when it comes to all kinds of social media, but also just in general when he talks about mental health, whether you were a hockey player or not. So he's got this name Car Bomb, and I thought, wow, that's really cool. Now, he earned this name Car Bomb. I mean, he was a fighter in the NHL for 10 years, so in theory, probably a little more rugged than I am. So far, the leader is Landmine. I like that. Landmine, like Landsberg, and then mine, which is not relevant until you put them together, and you get Landmine. You like that case?
Could I be Landmine too?
You could be Landmine as well, so or Landmine too. So let's keep those suggestions coming, and we got to hand out a prize to the one that picks the best one. So I am a great believer in views that are not the same as mine, in hearing them. Whenever I go speak, I always say, is there anyone here that really doesn't see mental illness as the same as physical illness? And we know that more than half of Canadians do see it that way. That's the stigma, right? But no one ever wants to argue it because they don't want to be that person in the room that puts up, it's like, as I have said many times, hey, any people here, and don't hesitate to put up your hand, any people here not like Jewish people? I mean, come on, let's face it, we are a little bit pushy, and no one puts up their hand. Same thing for mental illness. No one wants to admit that they're part of the stigma. So I like it, though, because I think it's important to have debate. Debate is what leads to a change in opinion. So there's a guy on Twitter, at Cranky Canuck, both with K's, and he's made some statements about SickNotWeak that I think are important to deal with. And it's not like I get mad when I realize that, when I read this. Mental illness goes beyond depression. Don't pay lip service to Bell Let's Talk and SickNotWeak until you're going to give the same compassion to people with bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, borderline personality disorder, etc., as you do to people with depression. Now, I can understand why you would say that. Let me explain why we talk largely about depression and anxiety. We do for a couple of reasons. Number one, when I use the word depression, it seems less cumbersome than saying mental illness. So very often I'm talking about mental illness in general. But there's something even more than that, and that is I have credibility in talking about depression and anxiety because I have suffered depression and anxiety. So I have the ability to bond with people based on common lived experiences. When I talk to you and I say, I know what depression feels like, and then I prove it to you, that can be really powerful. Because you would say, wow, he understands me. He's lived what I've lived, and that can empower people to talk about their own struggles. But I have not been bipolar, although I often do group them together, bipolar, depression, and anxiety. And you say borderline personality and schizophrenia. I mean, I haven't experienced those illnesses, and I'm lucky not to have experienced those illnesses. So if I were to speak about them in the same context without having gone through it, what is my credibility? The only card that I have to play is the fact that I am you, but I can't say I am you when you have suffered from schizophrenia. Now, I have spoken to this Schizophrenia Society of Saskatchewan, for instance, and I talked about stigma. It had nothing to do with a specific mental illness, but stigma. It affects everybody with an illness, whether it's depression or anxiety or bipolar or borderline personality disorder or schizophrenia. So I just want you to know that it's not that we're leaving it off. This is just from my standpoint. It's the only thing that I know, and I'm really careful never to overstep my boundaries, to never, ever talk about something that I don't have an expertise in. And the only expertise I have is lived experience. Let's keep debating this. And, thank you. Criticism, like I said, allows us to deal with things. SickNotWeak.com, 24 hours a day, 364 days a year. I'm here because... Why am I here, Case?
Because you need to be.
Because I need to be here.
You got shit to say.
Because I got shit to say. And I'll take shit from you just so I can give it back to you.